boxer? How do you feel like you get out of that bubble to make somebody a real boxer?
I mean, what he's doing is, I mean, kind of cool. If he can continue to steal money and they match him the way they match him, I can't knock his hustle. So if they can match him the way how they've been matching him.
I haven't seen Gervonta Davis in another sexual assault allegation, lawsuits incoming, potentially criminal charges levied. We don't know yet, but we know that fight is up in the air, and I think that fight's not going to happen, and they're going to either have to move the fight back or they're going to have to look to a replacement or both. I don't know.
This fight is still technically scheduled for November 14th to air on Netflix, but it's basically hanging on by a thread. But the team, Jake Paul's team, have reportedly gone and contacted all the fighters, and the names that they're looking at contacting to fight as a late replacement.
Floyd Mayweather has once again shaken up the boxing world, calling out Jake Paul after Gervonta Tank Davis's fight was canceled due to Tank's ongoing legal troubles. Mayweather made it clear that he's ready to step in and face Jake himself. And this time, he says it would be a real fight, not an exhibition. He also emphasized that he wouldn't move up in weight, signaling that if the matchup happens, it will take place under true professional rules. The unexpected call-out has created major buzz among fans, many of whom are eager to see whether Floyd is seriously preparing for a legitimate return to the ring.
Some, but at the time, people badly wanted you and Jake Paul to fight. Is he someone you're interested in, or no?
Well, if you go back, you got to do your homework. Look on the internet. I think he was doing a sit down on a podcast one time, and he talked about it. He said, I don't want to do an exhibition against Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
He said, I'm only doing real fights. And of course, I can't get up high in weight, but I'll fight him in a real fight at the weight that I'm at. But Jake Paul, I mean, as of right now, for what he's doing, it's good for what he's doing. But once he fights a real fighter, it's going to be bad.
Have you been impressed?
But one thing I like about him, one thing I do like about him, he's selling it. He's selling it, and he's making good money. And
because of the ongoing lawsuit and the accompanying investigation, Gervonta Davis's highly publicized exhibition against Jake Paul has been officially canceled. His promoter, Most Valuable Promotions, released a statement confirming that they are investigating the matter and have decided not to move forward with the event under the current circumstances.
Oh, the situation, it was supposed to be boxing Gervonta Tank Davis, a man that weighs 133 pounds or 135. Regardless, it's a man that is way smaller than Jake Paul. So that is just ridiculous, and I'm giving my thoughts on that before anyway. But now it turns out that Gervonta Davis has some allegations about domestic abuse. I don't know too much about the situation, but apparently Netflix have pulled the plug on that fight. It says, here's a tweet I'm reading from Mike Coppinger. As reported, Jake Paul's return could shift to December, with the November 14th Netflix exhibition in jeopardy due to the latest allegations against Gervonta Davis. Sources tell Ring Magazine that December 12th and the 19th.
Davis is currently the subject of a civil lawsuit filed by his former girlfriend, Courtney Roselle, over an alleged incident that took place on October 27th at a Miami nightclub where she works. Roselle's filing accuses Davis of battery, aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The complaint claims Davis dragged and assaulted her through several areas of the club, including the stairwell, kitchen, and parking garage. Law enforcement in Miami Gardens has confirmed that an active investigation is underway alongside the civil case.
Boxing champion Gervonta Tank Davis faces new abuse claims from a woman who claims to be his ex-girlfriend. This is according to our media partner, the Baltimore Banner. Courtney Russell says she dated Davis for 5 months and recently filed a civil lawsuit accusing him of aggravated battery, false imprisonment, and other offenses. She claims Davis physically attacked her a number of times during their relationship. Russell claims the most recent incident was Monday at a Miami nightclub. Davis is scheduled to fight Jake Paul in Miami.
Chael Sonnen recently weighed in on the chaos surrounding the rumored cancellation of the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis fight, revealing that he personally reached out to both camps to uncover the truth. According to Sonnen, he contacted representatives from Jake's team as well as Tank's side to confirm whether the rumors were legitimate. But neither party gave him a clear answer. Their silence, he said, only fueled growing suspicion that something serious was unfolding behind the scenes. Sonnen suggested that when both fighters avoid denying a cancellation, it usually means there's more to the story than scheduling issues, hinting at possible legal and promotional complications driving the situation.
Tank has one job to do, which is to let anybody know that's listening that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skills, of which I am an abundance of and of which you have none of. My life's commitment and dedication versus a second or third or fourth thought in the world of priority on your list. And I used to believe those things. Now, I go back far enough in MMA that I've had my eyes open a number of times. The fact that karate was so incredibly useless, or the fact that Jeet Kune Do was so incredibly useless, like these were not things that I would have bet on when I was in high school. As a wrestler at that time, I would not have assumed that I would fare well in a fight against somebody that knew Kung Fu. We had all been falsely led through Hollywood. Not through competition, not through sport, not through understanding of the game, but just through Hollywood. We were told that those guys were the most dangerous guys. So, we then eventually get up to Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, which had a weight discrepancy, but it was very small. I mean, I watched him weigh in, I want to say it was like...
With Tank's fight now in jeopardy, Floyd Mayweather has stepped forward, calling out Jake Paul to face him instead. Mayweather has been blunt in his assessment of Jake's boxing abilities. While he acknowledges Paul's success in the crossover world and admits he's entertaining, Floyd stops short of calling him a legitimate boxer. He's described a potential matchup with Paul as too easy, suggesting that Jake wouldn't pose a real challenge to someone of his caliber. Mayweather has also made it clear that although Paul has built a lucrative niche for himself, stepping into the ring with a world-class fighter would expose the gap in his training, technique, and overall level of competition.
There are many people who believe you're the most talented fighter ever, period. So whatever you say to this question, I think is important. Are you impressed? Does he have boxing ability, or is he just an entertainer who has a lot of fans and can promote a fight and has fought lesser opponents, or is he actually talented?
As long as he continues to fight MMA guys and YouTubers, he's gonna continue to look good and shine. But once he fights a real fighter that can really fight, it's not gonna be that good.
Does he have the ability, with what you've seen, to continue to mold himself into somebody who can actually? He told me before his goal is to fight Canelo, so that's, you know, where his mindset's at.
Additionally, Mayweather's reluctance to grant rematches has often left fans with lingering questions and unresolved what-ifs. In contrast, Jake Paul has built much of his record by defeating opponents who were either far past their prime or significantly smaller than him. Mayweather has cautioned fans about the level of competition Paul has faced, even while acknowledging his entertainment value. He warned that once Jake steps into the ring with a real, active fighter, the outcome could quickly expose his limitations.
Second question is just with like Logan Paul and then Jake Paul now fighting Mike soon in the summer. What do you think defines a real boxer? Because I feel like people are still confused on if Jake Paul is a YouTuber boxer or a real boxer. How do you feel like you get out of that bubble to make somebody a real boxer?
What he's doing is, I mean, kind of cool. If he can continue to steal money and they match him the way they match him, I can't knock his hustle. So if they can match him the way how they've been matching him.
Meanwhile, some fighters and analysts praise Floyd Mayweather not only for his speed and defense, but for his mindset. They argue that what truly made him formidable was his unshakable self-belief, the conviction that he could defeat anyone who stood across from him. Former boxer Tony Jeffries, for example, highlighted how Mayweather's confidence and mental edge often allowed him to take control of a fight before it even began.
They're really confident, they really believe in themselves, but you need more than that mindset. You need to have the full package of everything that I'm talking about, what Floyd has got.
You fighters should only want to get better.
The more you win, the more you should work hard. If you think about losing, you're gonna lose. All I ever thought about was winning. So that's all I know. Floyd would visualize his success before he even stepped into the ring. There was no alternative to him but winning. And this mindset isn't just for boxing, it's for all walks of life. And I've actually done a full video talking about how I used this mindset of visualization to win my Olympic medal. And it was an absolute game changer. Now, Floyd used to use this mindset to ease the pressure that he put himself under. And he made himself think like, I'm not under any pressure right now, where he was under immense pressure.
Pressure either makes you or break you. Well, you see where I'm at, so it's obvious that I'm the type of athlete or I'm the type of entertainer that can deal with pressure. There's never no pressure.
Now, if you watch his fight in 2013 when he fought Canelo Alvarez, Canelo came in a young, strong, undefeated fighter, but by round 2, Floyd kind of had him figured out. He was reading Canelo's jab. He would slip outside and then come back with a clean counter punch, then move his feet and get out of the way. He basically had the full fight under control, and he was controlling the full rhythm of the fight. He was forcing Canelo to fight at his pace. And this is what he would do in all of his fights. He would get his opponent to do what he wanted them to do without their opponent even realizing it, which is what we call boxing IQ. Now, even though I'm not a fan of Floyd Mayweather personally, because of the time when I did meet him, what he said to me made me just feel like this guy is a piece of shit. And
reports now suggest that Floyd Mayweather is pursuing a fight with Mike Tyson, and analysts see this as more than just another money-driven move. They believe it reflects Floyd's desire to prove that he can still dominate headlines even in retirement. With all eyes on the Davis versus Paul spectacle, Mayweather seems unwilling to let anyone, not even his protege, steal the spotlight. Observers describe this as classic Floyd, a man who thrives on attention, competition, and legacy. While Gervonta and Jake prepare for their own blockbuster event, Mayweather's rumored fight points to a deeper theme: the ongoing struggle among boxing legends to remain relevant in a rapidly evolving sports world.
So many celebrities and so many people that are known, where you can get somebody and they can sell tickets to events. That's what kicked off the social media influence boxing that Jake Paul was birthed from. Now we're in a vacuum. And so there's going to be a lot of conversation about that and continuing to do that. In this particular video, though, I want to get into the mind of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and why Floyd Mayweather Jr. would do this. There is the money, but there's also the competitive nature of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and him not wanting to have other people think that they're a bigger star than he is. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has not been able to really launch his star outside of the sport of boxing, so he continues to do exhibitions. Now, what I think is that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is announced it at this point in time with Mike Tyson in order to take advantage of the publicity heading into the Gervonta Davis-Jake Paul fight, which is, I do believe, set for November. So now that they have all the publicity and all that stuff coming out from that, he's going to piggyback on it and then try to have it in the beginning of next year sometime and actually make it a bigger event than Gervonta versus Jake Paul. And it probably will be. And the reason that I say that is because of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is bigger than Floyd. Let me say Mike Tyson. I think Mike Tyson's bigger than Floyd Mayweather. I still think his name is bigger than Floyd Mayweather, even though I know Floyd has made more money in the pay-per-views. And I think that had a lot to do with, again, social media area and otherwise. But the combination of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Mike Tyson and the question about whether...
According to multiple reports, Jake Paul's promotional team is actively contacting several high-profile fighters as potential replacements for Gervonta Davis, whose upcoming bout has been cast into doubt amid ongoing legal allegations. Among the names being discussed, one stands out: Terrence Crawford. Sources suggest that Paul's team has reached out to Crawford as a possible replacement opponent in light of the uncertainty surrounding the original matchup. While several names have circulated in recent days, nothing has been confirmed publicly. What makes this development significant is Crawford's elite standing in the sport. His involvement would instantly raise the stakes and legitimacy of any event. However, Crawford has not agreed to anything in writing, and the talks appear to be in the very early, speculative stages. Even so, the buzz alone has shifted attention toward the possibility that Jake Paul's team may be pivoting toward a more credible and far more dangerous opponent.
Technically scheduled for November 14th to air on Netflix, but it's basically hanging on by a thread. But the team, Jake Paul's team, have reportedly gone and contacted all the fighters, and the names that they're looking at contacting to fight as a late replacement: Ryan Garcia, Terence Crawford, Francis Ngannou, I mean, come on, we'll get into them, and Nate Diaz. So he's already fought Nate Diaz, but let's go through them one by one. I mean, Ryan Garcia, he's a similar size to Gervonta Davis. He's bigger though. Davis made him come down, didn't he? Then he beat him up. So that was Ryan Garcia. Quite a bad loss for Garcia, that was, because he was up for the fight, but Gervonta Davis beat Garcia. Garcia also isn't really big enough to be jumping in with Jake Paul, but that's a fight that potentially could happen. Garcia is a massive name. He's a big he's a social media star. He's a big public figure. Loads of followers on Instagram and social. I mean, his Instagram's over 1 million, I'm sure it is. He's just a big name, good looking kid, great fighter, fast stands, and he's quite controversial as well. So that'd be a good fight, but the weight disparity, again, it's too big. So for me, when I say it'd be a good fight, it'd be interesting to see how Ryan Garcia would go in against Jake Paul. But to be honest, Jake Paul's far too big for him. Who else we got? Terence Crawford. I can't see Terence Crawford entertained in this, but then you never know, do you? If the old bunts make sense, then it makes people do strange things. And Terence Crawford's getting on now, what is he, 37, 38 years old, had a great win against Canelo. Would he jump in with Jake Paul for mega money? Probably. He'd paced him as well. I mean, Terence Crawford would be too much for Jake Paul, even though he's up at 168 in his last fight, super middleweight, my old weight division. So I don't think Jake Paul would fight him. Francis Ngannou, I mean, why even chuck Ngannou in the mix? Ngannou would just hammer him. He's too big. I mean, he talked about Anthony Joshua. That never happened, did it? It's a load of bollocks. He talked about fighting AJ, then announced he's fighting someone the size of one of AJ's legs in Gervonta Davis. So for me, that's nothing. And the Nate Diaz fight, he's already fought him. It was a rubbish fight.
Many critics were already against the idea of a fight between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. Fellow fighter Carl Froch has been particularly vocal, calling the proposed showdown a rubbish fight. Froch argues that the bout lacks real competitive value, citing Paul's limited boxing background and Davis's obvious superiority in skill and experience. He dismissed Paul as more of a spectacle boxer than a legitimate contender, insisting that the matchup wouldn't stand up to scrutiny from true boxing purists. For Froch, the issue isn't about who wins. It's about whether this fight deserves to be treated with the seriousness of a genuine clash between two elite professionals.
Absolute clown world. Really fitting for fake Paul, the clown, because it's a clown show. You're putting him in with somebody who's 100 pounds lighter. I mentioned the weight disparity before. Getting on for 7 stone. It's a weight-governed sport. It should not be happening. He's too small, Gervonta Davis, against the big Jake Paul, who's in the gym a lot, training. Apparently he's fit and strong and he has a go and he can fight a little bit, which I disagree with because I don't think he can. He might be able to fight a little bit. He certainly can't box. But these allegations against Gervonta Davis, they're very serious allegations. Anybody that's laying hands on women needs to be shut down straight away. They need to be, for me, they need to be locked up in the key.
Amir Khan called the matchup a serious mismatch, criticizing it as a really bad idea. Khan blasted the promoters for agreeing to what he described as a form of torture, stressing that putting two fighters of such vastly different sizes in the ring isn't fair to Gervonta Davis. With Jake Paul reportedly weighing well over 200 pounds and Davis having never competed above roughly 140, Khan labeled the pairing both dangerous and exploitative. He even questioned whether Davis's decision might be driven by a desire to cash out and walk away from the sport altogether.
Jake Paul, he gets on my nerves a little bit. I think the way he conducts himself, the way he acts, and I think he's just full of himself as well. And he thinks he can fight. And he's only been boxing for what, like a year. But he's been very lucky though. He has he's had some good wins against like MMA fighters. He's a little bit heavier than me, but I don't mind putting the pounds on. Just
some critics are questioning why the fight needed to be canceled at all, arguing that Tank remains physically fit and ready to compete despite his ongoing legal troubles. They point out that several athletes in the past have fought while facing active charges, suggesting that the decision may have been driven more by public image and corporate optics than by genuine concern for the fighters. Many fans believe that if Tank was still willing to fight, the promoters should have allowed the bout to move forward, especially considering the massive hype and financial investment surrounding it. Others, however, argue that given the seriousness of the allegations, proceeding with the event could have sparked major backlash and caused lasting damage to everyone involved.
So, did Gervonta Davis's cancellation of his fight with Jake Paul, was it the right decision from Jake Paul and his team at Netflix? Did they make the right move to cancel the Gervonta Davis fight? I want to know y'all thoughts in the comment section. We'll probably do a longer video on this later, but I want y'all to interact and let me know y'all thoughts. Now that we know the fight is canceled, they announced it late yesterday while we were in the middle of our live stream. What is your thoughts? Do you think the fight should have been canceled? Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll see y'all.
So, what do you think about all this? Should Floyd Mayweather really step in and face Jake Paul now? Or should the promoters hold off and wait until Gervonta Tank Davis clears his legal situation? The debate is heating up, and opinions are split across the boxing world. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear where you stand on this one.